Give me a bit of an echo there. Thanks for joining us, Ricky. How are you doing in lockdown? The first question everybody's asking. Everybody is how they're coping.
I'm fine. As I've said loads of times in interviews over the past sort of 10 weeks, you'll never hear me complain when there's nurses doing 14-hour shifts and risking their life. And I had to postpone a few gigs and play badminton in the garden. I'm doing absolutely fine. In fact, I'm getting pretty used to it. Apart from the inconvenience of the postponed tour, it shouldn't make a difference to me. I'm a writer. I'm writing. I've always got enough booze for a nuclear winter. I'm always on the couch by 6 p.m. watching Netflix. So the evenings are literally no different. Exactly. It's the first thing I did the day before the lockdown. I went down to the cellar and I counted the bottles of wine and the bottles of whiskey. And I saw on the news people fighting over toilet rolls. I thought, why are you fighting over Imagine if it was the end of the world, you know, that was it, the end of civilization. Like, you give us shit about toilet rolls. I'd give my last toilet roll for a bottle of wine. I'd be drunk and wiping my arse on the grass. So I'm absolutely fine.
Now, so not much has really changed in your life, really.
Do you know what? No, I never like people coming to the house. We do all deliveries, but I don't go shopping. I don't go shopping for clothes. I get my clothes once a year when I do a production. That's why all my characters wear things that I can wear afterwards. Even Derek. Some of the clothes I wore in Derek were my own sweatpants and cardigans.
You mentioned Derek, and I've got this.
Exactly. Yeah. So no, but the big thing is really luckily we finished Afterlife 2. That was in the can. It was edited, ready to go. They were literally translating it into 160 languages. So that was always on schedule. So that was really lucky, and people lapped that up, obviously.
Let's be honest, the timing of the lockdown was absolutely perfect, really, for you, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, as I say, apart from the gigs, you know, and so I was meant to be in North America at the moment. So they're all their, you know, New York, Madison Square Garden, LA, Chicago. I'm meant to be doing Canada, August, which is almost certainly not happen. But I'll do all those next year. Again, that's not really my headache. That's a lot of admin for the people. I felt sorry for the people who are looking forward to it, you know. I can take it or leave it. No, if it wasn't for the gigs, this would be like a holiday for me.
I remember reading one of Jane's tweets when I think she was trying to do yoga or something, and you were fencing or something in the background. Is that correct? You're
fencing?
Did you have a sword or something? Or
oh no, I found an old bow and arrow. Yeah.
A bow and
yeah, an old bow and arrow. I got out, and we found the badminton set, which we haven't used. It's one of those things you've got a cupboard full of stuff. But then we found that the garden was the perfect badminton-sized garden, right? So we ordered some spray chalk online. When I say we, Jane did it all. I wouldn't know how to do it. And then we marked a badminton court, and we played badminton every day. We played badminton every day for like 2 months, and I reckon we got another 2 months of it. So I'm making the most of it. I am writing. I'm probably writing as much. In fact, there's more hours in the day without all the admin, because of a normal day, 3/4 of it is admin, just doing emails and organising stuff and answering people and doing requests, and whereas now you get out of everything. I don't have to do anything. I don't have to do anything. No social occasions. I do these interviews like this where I just walk to the next room with a beer. I don't have to get dressed or get in a car for meetings. Honestly, I'm gonna miss it.
Are you going to write this experience into the next? Do you think everybody's going to be doing that? Do you think they're going to suffer?
We're going to have the BBC have probably received 30 different ideas for lockdown comedies and dramas. Everyone's going to be writing a lockdown novel. There's going to be movies about it. So no, I think the best, you've got to gauge it. I think you have to mention it if you do anything, even mildly current. I might do an odd reference to it, like someone saying during the pandemic, but only to let people know, when this was sort of written, when it's set. But no, I think people are going to want to distance themselves from it, really. Obviously, the practical side of things is we don't know how it's going to be filmed. There might be an awful lot of scenes with just me and one other person 2 meters apart. So, I'm already thinking of things like, hugging, doing a crowded scene. So there might be behind the scenes practical concerns, depending on what happens, but we just don't know. I mean, in my heart of hearts, I want this to be an odd blip in, humanity's history. But we just don't know. It's far enough away. I wouldn't be filming it till this time next year anyway. So if it's still going by next year, there's bigger problems than filming a sitcom.
Yeah. And now you've just mentioned there about obviously there is going to be an Afterlife 3. Did you expect the first two to be as successful? I mean, 15 years ago, The Office was the most watched British comedy in the world, and you've just done it again with Afterlife 15 years later. Do you feel you're at your peak now, or were you at your peak there? In your prime?
Yeah, I mean, these, lightning doesn't often strike twice, and a lot of the success, in the sense of how big it is, isn't down to me. It's a reflection of how big Netflix is. They've got 170 million subscribers. Now that's crazy. They're the biggest broadcaster in the world, and it's always there. It's always there. Even a few years ago, I think Netflix accounted for a third of the internet traffic going into America. I mean, it's a crazy success story from an algorithm of video rental to Disney in 10 years. So that's not my success. That's theirs. And I did get in early. I think I was the.
Yeah, I was going to say that. I remember you pioneering for that, saying Netflix is the future of
Yeah, I heard about it. I heard about it when it was sort of video rental, and I heard it was going to start making shows. And I got Ted Sarandos' email, and I said, "Hi Ted, I think you're the future. I want to do my next thing for you." And he emailed back, "We'll take it." And that was Derek, yeah. And that was when it had a few million. But now, and the real beauty of Netflix is, because so many people have watched Afterlife that might not have even heard of me or known that I did The Office or Extras, they go back and they discover Derek. Now there's a wave of Derek love. People saying Derek is my new favourite thing, because they watched Afterlife. And so yeah, no, I didn't know. But the biggest thing about Afterlife was I've never had a reaction like it. But as I say, that's a reflection of how big Netflix is. Social media, everyone tells you as they're watching it, which is great. I love it. But it was the connection it made, the emotional response. People come up to me on the street and saying, I lost my brother 3 weeks before. I lost my wife last year, and I was Tony. And people really identified with it. And I think that's what comes from dealing with a taboo subject. People, they want to see themselves, and they want to see it act out, and they don't want to feel abnormal, so they identify with it. And I thought I better treat that respectfully, and that's why he doesn't just snap out of it and get better in series 2, because that just doesn't happen with that sort of depression and stuff. So yeah.
Where do you begin though with a show like Afterlife? I mean, how do you come up with that idea? What's
so it depends. Usually I say, okay, with me, it always starts with a character. and usually my character. So David Brent was obviously the first thing I came up with, and that existed way before The Office even. Then you find a format for it, and I'd worked in an office for 10 years, and the observations were that he was a sort of a middle manager, so, you know, that made sense. Then extras came with Andy Millman first, because I always wanted to do a wisecracker, but that was surrounded by idiots. So it's that thing of, there's no advantage of being the cleverest person in the room if everyone's an idiot. They think you're the idiot. So I wanted to do that Groucho Marx, Bob Hope, you know, just sarcasm got you through because you were surrounded by idiots. And then, you know, I was in media, so I thought, yeah, make it about, you know, he's on the bottom rung. And then, you know, again, to explore fame and ego, because The Office sort of explored those things. You know, it was about an ordinary guy who thought fame would sort himself out, and same as Andy Millman, but I just flipped it. So I made Brent the sort of satisfied fool who just thought he was the life and soul of the party, and, you know, and I made Andy Millman the dissatisfied Socrates. He knew he was the bottom of the ladder and he hated it. And Derek, the character, came way before the series. But the idea came first, the high concept, rather like a movie, rather like with The Invention of Lying. It was a sort of almost one-line pitch in my head. Maybe to do with things like, you know, getting old and worried about your mortality, and also political correctness when you can't say and do anything anymore because you get beaten up by the mob. And that must have all been going in my head. And I thought, but imagine you were going to kill yourself. You lost everything, you were going to kill yourself, but you didn't for some reason. Well, life is a bonus, and you've always got that to fall back on. You could do and say exactly what you wanted. You wouldn't have to worry about the consequences, because if it gets too much, you can always kill yourself, like a superpower. That was the gag almost. And then you think, well, what's losing everything? And I thought, well, it's losing your life partner, you know. And then why doesn't he kill himself? The dog's hungry. Gosh, you have to do ordinary things, even if you still have to do normal. And that's what it's about. It's about a man's journey. It asks the big question: if you lose everything, is life still worth living? And then you write it. And it's one of the cleanest, easiest ideas to write that I've had, actually. The only tricky thing was, can people laugh at a sitcom that starts with a woman who's died from cancer and the man is a depressive alcoholic who wants to destroy the world? Can you then laugh at the funny bits?
Well, that's a question we received from Craig Armstrong, who asked, where do you draw that line of knowing how is Jane your gauge for that? Just like when you did.
Well, I talked to her about ideas, you know, ideas for narrative and even stand-up. I go for a jog, I come back with an idea for stand-up, and I tell her it, and she says, please don't say that in public. And I know, I've got something here. No, but you do, but you at the end is you have to trust your instincts, because everyone starts off with all these good intentions. Everyone wants final edit, and I've been really lucky with that, you know. And most people have a frustrating time. They have a frustrating 25-year career of having to compromise every step of the way. And you've got to say, it's my way or no way at all. And you've got to be able to walk away. It's no good bluffing, because win, lose or draw, okay? You do something, you do it to your best of your ability, and that's it, right? But if you do it and it's compromised and it's not your thing and it still fails, oh God, that's awful. So you might as well just do it for yourself, and you'll have a better life, okay? And everyone starts off with those good intentions. Everyone says, I'm going to do something that's never been done before. It's going to be uncompromised. It's going to be real life. It's going to be taboo crunching. It's going to, you know, issues head on. It's going to be hard to watch, but it's going to be. And then they do that, and then someone says, you know, if you take out some of the swearing, we can put it on early. And you go, okay, take out the swearing. And they go, if you lose that storyline, you should lose that. Okay, yeah, we lose, and soon you're back to square one. So you know, this could never have existed on TV. It would have been chipped away and chipped away. So you've got to find the platform for you. You've got to find people who trust you. You've got to do it your way and just put it out there and see what happens.
And the characters as well that you're brought into this. I wanted to ask you if how much of you was in your own characters, and particularly Tony, and how much of your characters are based on real people.
Right. Well, the answer's lots, and not just the characters I play, but all the characters I create. There's bits of me and people I know, because you've sort of got to make it fair. If you did a central character that was just me, and I went through the world and everything I said I agree with in real life, that would be so preachy and boring, and they'd just be foils for my, and I mix it up, because you've got to be fair. You've got to be able to argue for the other side of the argument as well. It's like playing chess with yourself. And it's a common mistake people make, that the actor playing that guy is like the actor in real life, and they're all a bit of, but not when you create it all. They're all a bit of you. But yeah, I suppose I put most of me, the mannerisms and some of the ideas and some of the, particularly when it's something that's upsetting and the passions are more mine with my characters, I guess. And I'm like Tony in the sense that the world does annoy me really easily. I want peace and quiet. I'm becoming more like Tony than I was when I wrote Tony. Like, I'm the guy at the window if someone's making too much noise out in the car. Someone's the park with the car too close for their radio on. I want to go out and go, can you turn the radio off, mate? I am that man. I am that guy now. I'm the etiquette police. Noise, anything. I want to be able to go up with a badge with someone on a plane and go, put your shoes on, your feet stink. Police. I really. Noisy,
but you're also
rudeness.
You're also very squeamish as well, aren't you? You're very squeamish in real life. I mean, you mentioned before that one of the things we have in common is we both hate people that do that noise, that thing, which you wrote into the show.
Oh, there is never. I want to know why people don't know what they're doing. Like, I'll be in a restaurant and someone will be doing that, and I'll be just giving them staggers. And Jane goes, "Don't stare. They don't know why you're staring at them, right?" And I go, they should know. I want to be able to go over and say, "Listen, this is where I'm staring because you're a fucking pig and you're acting like a moron. Don't chew with your mouth. Don't scream. Don't fucking clap your hands when you laugh." There was honestly, my blood pressure's going up just thinking of people annoying me in public, like in the pandemic. Like, people walking, socially distancing, like 3 abreast. So I have to go into the fucking road or into the bushes. The number of times I've just stepped into the bushes, I'm going to get fucking Lyme disease, not coronavirus, because people don't get the fucking way. So yeah, there is a lot of me in.
In the first series, when you did the thing with the milk puddings, I mean, that to me is just great humour, and I can so relate to that. I take it I know you're a big fan of shows like Big Brother and you like to watch these shows. You could never do the jungle thing for that reason. I can't imagine you doing those.
I'd never do it. I'd never do Big Brother or the jungle. I'd never do anything. Right. Just Big Brother alone. I don't want to share a house with anyone. This is an 8-bedroom house that we had them knocked into 1 bedroom so our fans couldn't stay. I don't want to share the noise, with people being filmed, the jungle. Forget it. I don't want to share a jungle with anyone and being filmed on top. It's like it ticks every box of don't do this. Don't do this. I'd never do those things. No.
I'm a celebrity. Get me the fuck out of here.
Get the fuck out. Yeah. So this is why I quite like the lockdown. It really suits me. It really suits. But yeah, you put all those things in. You look at real life. Everything I've done is sort of like based on, experience or real life or just observations of the world. And then you add the fiction. Then But I don't really do surreal or fantastical or no. I do like realism and. My favourite thing now, I do change and I explore and I do different types of comedy, I guess, within a framework. But now I just want to, obviously, it still make people laugh, but I like making them think as well, and I like making them feel. I like the idea that in fiction we create our own heroes and villains as role play for the soul, so we can do everything, and people go through those emotions. They really do get angry with characters. They shout at the telly and they cry when someone they like. So you're really feeling all those things, but you know no one's really getting hurt. So you know you can have punishment for bad people, or redemption just as good, and reward for nice people, or sometimes good guys finish last. All these things. I like the sort of ambiguity of morality. Sometimes good people do bad things, and sometimes bad people do good things, and that's real life. And I like putting it all in there, and it's just interesting to watch. But it's all entertaining. It doesn't have to be. You don't have to be laughing all the time to be being entertained, or crying. You can just be thinking. Thinking is entertaining. Learning is entertaining. Distractions are entertaining.
Yeah.
I mean, one person said, one of my favourite quotes about it on Twitter, and I have thousands a day. It's crazy. One person said, "Afterlife is Ricky Gervais just walking a dog, and I fucking love it." And I thought, what a great programme. Just a bloke walking a dog.
But I mean, that's the thing. You talk about how people have been touched by the emotions in the show, whether it be they've lost a loved one. There's also a big, obviously you're an animal lover. Everybody knows you love animals, particularly dogs. And the fact that you have this relationship with the dog, it's what keeps Tony going. That attracts a lot of fans who are animal lovers as well. I mean, where did this love of animals come from? I mean,
Don't know.
Have you always?
I think you're born like it, and then you develop it. I was, my family loved animals. I was born into a family with pets. We replaced each pet as it died or was put down, and
That's the toughest part, isn't it? That's why.
Oh.
I mean, obviously, everybody knows about Ollie. You had
Yeah.
Since because Jonathan Ross gave you Ollie on television. We all felt part of that relationship because we were sort of there when you first got Ollie.
Yeah, and they are members of the family. You instill them with all those.
Does that put you off getting pets now? I mean,
no. You've got there's a line in Afterlife where Steve Spears, the guy who's been posting his letters in a dog waste bin, says he's never had a relationship because he knows it'd end, and that's a crazy way to think. That you are going to get a pet, and it is going to die, and it's going to destroy you, but that's no reason not to get a pet. You might as well just not live. It's part of life, and it's beautiful, and I'm glad we can share the world with an animal. It's incredible. And dogs, they blow my mind how good they are. We go walking, me and Jane, every day, like sometimes twice a day, just to meet dogs. We know so many by name now, and they come over. They're my dogs. They're all my dogs. Right? There's no. You can't own a dog. They're ours. Right?
Dogs love everybody, don't they? The dogs get attached. They just need to look in a dog's eyes, and you're.
I could just see a dog happy, and it cheers me up. It's something. I'm a rationalist, but there's something magical about a dog, and they're amazing. They guard us, guide us. They can smell cancer. They can tell when you're going to have an epileptic fit. They die for you. They should be worshipped. They should be worshipped.
I love the innocence of puppy dogs, just the way they bounce around, sort of like
amazing
dogs, just the way the ears go.
Yeah. Everything's new. Everything's new, and everything's the best. That's the great thing about a dog as well, is that everything is the best idea ever. They worship you. I tweeted once, be the person your dog thinks you are. There's the relationship that I see people walking up, and the dog's just looking up at them, and the dog's going, "I love you, mate. I love you, mate."
Yeah, but on the other hand, the dog will also look at you and say, "You're a dick" when you're being a dick.
Oh yeah. Oh, they know. No, So the prospect of writing a dog in for all those reasons, having a dog for 6 weeks was great. And I've told this story before that, you know, like both times, both series, when I said goodbye to the cast and crew, it was the dog where I welled up, because I thought, she doesn't know why I'm not going to see her for a year. And I just thought, oh God, you get attached. When we used to go on holiday, me and my mum, when I was little, my dad used to look after the house and the dog. And we'd come home and the dog would come out like it had hurt itself, just for sympathy. It hadn't hurt itself. So it got like lots and lots of sympathy for a few days. And I remember, this sums up animals in my family. When I was, I don't know, I was a teenager living at home, and my older brother Bob, he had kids, right? He was about 40 or something. He came in, his two little kids came running in before him, and they were going to my mum, Nanny, Daddy punched a man in the park and knocked him out, right? And my mum was just like horrified, like, oh my God, my son. And Bob comes in, and my mum says, what did you do? You punched a man in the park, right? And Bob went, yeah, he kicked the dog. And my mum went, all right. So that's what I learned, my morality. No, I've never understood animal cruelty. I've never wanted to see an animal in pain at all. So yeah, and once I got a platform.
And Brand wasn't the only dog on set, because I was lucky enough to be on set. One of the days, and I remember, I'm sure, didn't one of the actresses bring a little dog along, and you were
Diana just adopted a dog and she brought it along every day, because he was a little rescue dog, and she was worried that she didn't want to leave him alone because he was so new to her. So I went, yeah, definitely. Dogs welcome. All dogs welcome on my shoot. So yeah, we don't allow journalists, but we do allow dogs.
I have to say that was a lot of fun, and we touched on you about the squeamish thing earlier. As I said, I'm very, very squeamish, and I have to mention this. That day that they were filming that little scene that I was in, that's just I was just doing a bit of background work, but I had to sit with a cup of coffee in front of me, and I didn't know it was coffee. I thought it was tea. I don't drink tea or coffee. I really detest coffee. Really, I mean, to the point where it makes me throw up. So in the moment, I picked up, when we were shooting, I picked up this coffee, this cold prop coffee, and I took a swig of it, and I took everything in my power not to vomit and spoil it. Yeah. Shit myself. It was totally imploded on the inside with this. It was horrific.
So if people don't know, you're in, I think it's episode 3, where I go into the cafe and talk to Peter Egan about not closing down the paper. And as you come through, you see your face as I come into the cafe.
That's right. Right. That was brilliant. I'm signing autographs. So I've got it's top of my CV now. It's terrific. Everybody's stopping me in the street. Now listen, Ricky, before we wind this up, I've got a couple of quick fire questions I'd like to take, if that's okay.
Definitely.
From a few people we've got. You mentioned as well about different age groups. My son and all his friends have discovered all your other work because of Afterlife, and they're watching just now. They're in their 20s, their early 20s, and they love everything you've done because of Afterlife. Grado wants to know, how different do you think Afterlife would have been if you had wrote it at the age of 25?
Good question. It wouldn't have been the same. It isn't, you know. All your life experiences add to it. Your perspective of the world changes, you know, drastically over 30 years. I think it was Muhammad Ali that said, if you're the same man at 50 you were at 20, all you've done is wasted 30 years. Isn't that great?
That's a brilliant.
That's amazing. So it would have been very different. Probably maybe more cynical and arrogant. I don't know. Another funny thing as well, that I did do this late, and I think The Office came out when I was like 40, and I won 2 BAFTAs. The first series, first awards, so I won 2 BAFTAs. And I came home and we were sitting in our flat and 2 BAFTAs with a little tuxedo on, drinking champagne. And I said to Jane, why didn't I do this before? And she went, because you wouldn't have been any good. And it's so true. You've got to have real life experiences to do fictional ones. And you've got to come to terms with your own inadequacies as well in comedy. You can't be, you know, I think this myth of, you know, being too old for stand-up, it's the opposite. I think the older and grumpier and more decrepit you get, the better it is. No one wants to see a 20-year-old with great hair jumping around telling you what a great day he's had. Someone wants to see an old bloke near death, like me, fucking complaining about it. You don't want to hear about good days. You want to hear about someone's worst day ever. And so
yeah, you don't want to hear a 20-year-old telling mother-in-law jokes. You're like, what?
No. yeah. I think that answers the question.
Michael Hunt asks, did you enjoy the cold veg curry from the tin? Now, what I take it that wasn't actually.
It was real. It was real because you can't fake opening a tin because the props can't make a tin with something in it. So
it was all one shot. So you did
it was vegetable curry, and I opened it and I took a few mouthfuls, and obviously again I had to swallow them. So I reckon I drank about half a tin of cold, but it's only vegetables. I mean, it was 9:30 in the morning. So, no, it's I do all my own stunts. There's a bit in extras where I have to put my face in soup, right? When I'm talking to Steve Spears, the dullard, and he says, I have 2 tickets to We Will Rock You, right? And I just put my face in the soup. And I did that, and I didn't realise it was just a can of soup, right? But there was pepper in it. So I came out, and my eyes, and it took about 10 minutes, they were taking, my eyes were streaming. And before the next take, so it was no one checked the soup. So I basically pepper sprayed myself in the eyes.
I do remember that scene. I did, and you did that sort of Oliver Hardy thing with the white.
That's exactly I did Oliver Hardy. Yes, well spotted. Yeah.
It's actually, we must give a shout out to Stan Laurel. It's his 130 years, since he was born.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant. I've got the Stan Laurel here now because of this lockdown. It's crazy right now. Okay, another couple of questions for you, Ricky. This is a good one actually from Lorraine Howard, a former local newspaper editor from Ayrshire. And she says, the portrayal of the Tambury Gazette was such a true representation of a small local paper. And she wants to know where the inspiration for that backdrop came from.
I'm fascinated with news, particularly local news, and particularly the more parochial, the better. Whenever I go to a little place or abroad or in England, if we go to a village or stay in a guest house or a castle or a hotel, I get the local paper because I want to see what the front cover is. And you know it's a good area when it says something, when the front cover is something like TV stolen. You know that's a good area. It's not like, 15 people were stabbed. It's something like over-date library book or woman finds hat in tree. I love it, those things.
Well, I think we've lost, now you're back. We lost
no, it was my low battery. I used to deliver a local paper as well. When I was on the dole, me and Jane, we had no money, and we delivered a local paper. I think it was like 15 quid a week, and it took us 2 days to deliver them all around Camden. So and also those stories are sometimes based in true stories, like the breast milk, that's based on a true story. My friend moved into a new house, and the woman came round and said, I've made some rice pudding out of my breast milk. And in real life, my friend went, oh, thank you very much, scraped it into the bin and gave her the dish back the next day. Those are either, some of them are totally fictional, but they're based on real issues, like the woman who has too much Botox and then has all those implants. They're always real issues, and everyone wants to get into the paper. Mm-hmm. So people do things to get in the paper. People send me now these things like world's biggest chip, and someone found the wrinkles on their knee look like Nelson Mandela. you know, they get into the local paper.
Yeah, of course they do.
Yeah, it's nice. And I made him a local reporter because it's the worst job for a misanthrope to go to someone else's home who's all excited about their banal story, and you've got to pretend you're excited too. And then I made it sort of save his life, because he realised that, you know, people have got worse lives than him and they're getting on with it. So I made him feel spoiled. So all these, it was just the perfect job for him. But it's fun observations as well.
And you know, one of the characters, you've been known to do this. You did this with Keith from The Office, a character who may be a small character at the beginning, but they evolve in the next series and so on. You did that with Afterlife with the character who
Jane, the recorder.
Yes. And that scene was sending the clip. I mean, that song does it for me anyway. It's like,
well,
it's one of those
it's
songs.
funny again. He got. I didn't know the actor. We found him. He had to play recorders. It didn't have much to do, but he absolutely nailed it. Mm-hmm. He mimed along to a little thing. He did a little thing like that, and I thought, you notice these things. I thought, he's pretty good. And those small parts, I'd say that to a new actor, just because it's a small part, give it everything. Because I'm watching. You know, Kerry gave her a small part in extras. She just had to say something like, "Oh, Andy wants to see you," but she did it really naturally. It was really funny. Then I gave her a small part in
Extras.
No, it wasn't. It was what did she do next?
As if you would forget the name of Extras anyway. What am I saying?
Yes, she did extras. She was filming Warwick Davis carrying some stuff in Life's Too Short, and we had to have beer, but she was saying, "Can I put that on YouTube?" And it was an ad-libbing scene. And then when I came to do Derek, I remembered she'd be great for Hannah, and so it's worth it. It's worth making your mark on a little scene. Bring something to it. Be on time. Don't be annoying. Don't be pushy. Just do your job and go, and someone will remember you.
I put everything into my 7 seconds.
Yeah.
How much can you do drinking a cup of coffee? But I try not to throw up. Okay, one or two more questions, Ricky, and then we'll wind this up before your battery dies. A good question from Ava Gardner. A brilliant name. I wonder who she was named after. If you could have been in a classic sitcom, which one would it have been and why?
Oh my God. Oh, there's so many. Oh, well, I loved, oh my God. Just being in it.
Yeah, being in it. If you could, I mean.
Oh my God. Right. All these are all shooting through my head. Fawlty Towers, Blackadder, Porridge, Rising Damp, Ever Decreasing Circles. Oh, probably some of the nostalgia, something from my child. Probably something like maybe Porridge. Just
like you like to have been an inmate in Porridge.
Oh, what?
You would like to have been an inmate in Porridge.
I think so.
As opposed to an officer, for instance.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I haven't thought it through.
Fulton Mackay really nailed that part that he played in that show.
Yeah. Great. Brilliant. Yeah. No, I love those old-fashioned, good, really good. Oh my God, there's so many. Reginald Perrin. Oh my word. I'll go with Porridge. I think I can just watch it over and over again. There's such a warmth to it. Mm-hmm. I think it was great.
Do you think in this day and age of political correctness, are you worried about the future of comedy?
No, I'm gonna just keep doing my thing. And times may change, but if you're not doing anything wrong, then you shouldn't worry about it. I mean, you make your things for now, but I hope they're pretty timeless. I'm not, you know, you can move with it. You should move with the times, but you can't move with the future. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I move with the times, but I can't. I don't know. It's mad to think, oh, I wonder if that'll still be around in 10 years. We shouldn't do it. Well, what will be? It's mad to try and second guess what's okay and it isn't in 10 years' time. So you just got to do what you do now, and if it doesn't stand the test of time, fine. You know, so what? So what? No, you just got to do. You keep doing your thing. Well,
it's certainly difficult times at the moment, Ricky, but Afterlife has come at the right time for everybody because it's funny. It's difficult to put a genre on it. It's not a comedy, or it is a comedy and it is a drama. And I don't know how you do it because it's difficult to put a genre on it, but you still reap up the awards. You still get the accolades. It's still the #1 show in the world, comedy show. I just think it's incredible how you do that. And there's a lot of people out there who are grateful for Afterlife because we're stuck in the house. There's not a lot for people to do. There's a lot of things you can watch on the telly, but Afterlife is one of those shows you can watch it over and over and over again. It's touched so many people's emotions and hearts, and we want to thank you for that.
And, my pleasure. Thank you very much.
On behalf of Airdrie Community Trust, thanks for coming on today and having this chat with us. I know you're a busy man,
right, yeah.
But keep up the good work. We look forward to Afterlife 3. And
thank you.
I look forward to my call back for the.
And I've finished my beer, so we've got to end now because I've got this is an emergency. I can't carry on.
All right, Rick. Listen, thanks very much, and I'll catch up with you soon.
Thank you, man. Cheers.
Ricky, see you soon. Everybody. Cheers. Bye, Ricky.
Tatty, bye.